Alright, Matt fam, so I finally got a chance. I don't know what that was. I'm throwing up gang signs while I'm starting my video here, but I finally got a chance to watch Bird Box. I almost called it something different, but the Bird Box is a movie that I caught the trailer a little while ago, and I made a video talking about 3 movies that look interesting that I'm going to keep an eye out for. Bird Box was one. I think the other was Triple Frontier and Brightburn. Brightburn being the one that looks the most, or the one I think I'll enjoy the most. Bird Box, I kind of called it in my prediction video, saying it looks like it'll be really good, and I'll walk away thinking it's just okay. And that's true for half and half, and I am pretty mixed on it. I will give this a recommend. I definitely have to recommend it because I know there's some people that will definitely enjoy this. It's shot really well. There's a lot of the cinematography and the atmosphere that's done really well in this. Like when they come across like the truck and the river and stuff like that, and different scenes that have a certain look to it, a certain atmosphere to it. It's done really well. I mean, it's done good. Some scenes are just freaking beautiful in that post-apocalyptic way. But if you haven't heard about this movie at all, the write-up says, 5 years after an ominous unseen presence drives most of society to suicide, a survivor and her 2 children make a desperate bid to reach safety. But like I said, there's moments that work, especially I think with the downfall of society, the breakdown of society, and that's a fun, or that's it's not like a genre, but that's a part in genre movies that I really do enjoy. You can find it in disaster movies, you can find it in post-apocalyptic movies where they flash back to the breakdown of society, but when society deteriorates, it's always that slow build-up, and when it's done wonderfully well, it's done wonderfully well. Like in Train to Busan, they do it great in that movie, and they do it pretty good in this movie too. Now it's simplified because it focuses on this character and her sister coming out of the hospital. They see something in the hospital, it spooks them. They start driving away because they heard stuff on the TV that, you know, shit was driving people crazy. They try to get up out of there, and then shit hits the fan even more, and then she meets up with survivors. But again, in that simplified way, they do a good job. You got shit blowing up behind them, the way it goes from just a normal conversation to being super stressed out. I think that was done well. There's a dialogue moments and quibs that hit that are funny. The sisters and the horses, so the one sister's like, all right, hold your horses. Little moments like that between the characters that definitely land. However, there's other moments that felt like it was 2 different scenes. And like, for example, they're in with the doctor. She's pregnant, so she's in with the doctor. And then you have the dialogue where they talk about what their parents were like and it feels like it was 2 different scenes, and since they cut the other scene, but they wanted to keep the dialogue for character development, they decided to jam that dialogue in with the doctor. Like, you're getting an ultrasound done, and you're just going to talk about your parents being like a crappy mother, and then I don't know. It's moments like that didn't work for me, but there's definitely some tension. There's definitely some moments that feel like it's them trying to create tension. There's also a human villain side to this that I didn't see coming from the trailer. However, I think it works since you don't have an actual monster or presence or a thing. It's similar to The Happening mixed with A Quiet Place. In A Quiet Place, you can't hear or make loud noises. You can't make noises at all. In this, you can't see at all. In The Happening, something causes people to commit suicide. Now, with The Happening, people made fun of the reveal, what it was that made people commit suicide. Plus, there was a lot of the performances that were just silly as shit. Some of them are iconic now. Some of them are memes, like Mark Wahlberg being like, what? No. If you don't know what that is, go back and watch that movie. And it's a moment where the old lady's like, what, are you going to kill me? He's like, what? No. That's a meme in itself, and it's hilarious. Every time I watch that scene, I die laughing. But with Bird Box, again, there's the moments that work, and then there's moments that don't work. And I think for some people, it'll be even. For some others, it'll be overwhelming that doesn't work, and then for the rest, it'll be more works that doesn't work for them. But I think everyone's going to take away moments that it's one of those movies where there's definitely moments you're just simply not going to like. Some of the characters feel a little generic. I think that's the biggest problem I have with this movie, to be honest. I didn't care for the characters. I like Sandra Bullock. She's been in movies since I was little, you know? Actually little. And then the black dude from The Predator, he's in this, and he's got great charisma. He has charisma in this as well. He makes it work. But again, there's just not enough that they do with the characters that you really grow an attachment for. Maybe like a little attachment. They use kids, which that's an easy to pluck emotional heartstrings, to just use kids. And they used a little girl, which has like the cutest little mouse squeak of a voice, you know? But then there's also some really just stupid moments, like characters just doing something that's so utterly dumb. And it's huge for the plot. So and again, it's one of that writing style where we need the plot to move forward, so we just have something convenient happen, or we have characters do something stupid. But at the end of the day, I will recommend this definitely, because there's some people out there that will enjoy it. I didn't hate it, but it didn't blow me away. So if you haven't seen Bird Box, if you like society breakdown stories, it's kind of a mix between disaster and apocalyptic and post-apocalyptic, but definitely check it out and let me know what you think down below. I will say, before you guys go, those who don't want to discuss spoilers, if anyone has read the book and then watched the movie, let me, because I believe this is adapted from a book, right? If anyone has read the book, let me know what you enjoyed better, because me personally, this feels, or it played out like a movie that would have been better in book form, you know, especially since you can't actually see the monsters and stuff like that, or what makes people commit suicide. Now we're going to cover just some spoilers just for a couple minutes. They're going to be major ones. Discuss the ending for a minute, and then we'll shut the video down. So if you haven't seen Bird Box, definitely go check it out, and then come back and then discuss the what you thought about it, and then listen to what I have to say about the spoiler part. So we're getting into the spoilers right now. I hope you bounced to check it out, because it definitely is worth a watch. Again, especially the atmosphere and how it's filmed, the cinematography. I love a lot of what they do in here. There's like one really cool death in the beginning where it's someone who kills themselves, where I was like, oh wow, that was that was pretty good. There's a couple moments where they do something and I was like, oh shit, okay, this is pretty good. So a couple things that I thought was really dumb that moved the plot forward was the final crazy person that they brought in at the end. Right from the gate, I think they tried to cover it up by having the one guy just be an ultra asshole. And at the same time, I was like, all right, you don't got to be that much of an ass, but I would definitely tie the guy up or lock him up or keep him quarantined for a bit until we get to know him a little bit, until we can trust him somewhat. They just let him roam free. And I get it, it's mixed in there with the pregnancies and shit like that. And that's another thing I'll say. Who didn't guess it? 15, 20 minutes into the movie, I guessed, right down to the money, who's going to make it out of this, and how it's going to be set up with her not being the mother of both the kids, and that other girl's, obviously she dies, she gets both of the kids, and then the boyfriend dies clearly because he's not with them on the raft, and then they finally get to where they're going, and it's going to be like this community that is a happy ending. You just read it. I would say within 15 minutes, that's everything that played out in my head. Okay, they're in the raft together. It doesn't make sense for her to meet up with people, that she survived with. So the other mother's dead. Her black boyfriend's dead. The ending isn't going to be this. I mean, they could go in that direction, but it's not going to be this really downer ending with two kids. I'm not buying that. So she's going to finally struggle. It's going to be rough, but it's going to be worth it because she's going to get to a community that's boom, boom, boom. And it played out exactly like that. Now, some of the symbolism, I think the most obvious is my brain went right to depression, right? And I don't know if that has anything to do with the story or why they wrote the story. I know nothing about the book. I know nothing about the movie or the symbolism, but I think that's the overall vibe of it. You know, so the hardcore depression takes you over and you commit suicide, obviously, like in real life. Some people that are super depressed, they commit suicide. So in this movie, if you look at the symbolism and the similarities there, they get taken over by something. One girl talks about her mother, another girl talks about something she saw, a family member, something tragic, and then she killed herself. And there's some really cool moments within that, like the deaths and stuff, that are cool and entertaining. But I don't know, it's a mixed bag. It's like it was almost, it had the potential, but it was too much of lukewarm. Too much of lukewarm. I did say visually there was a lot I did enjoy, but I think that's my overall problem with this. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it because a lot of it seemed lukewarm, generic, safe. There was some pretty intense stuff, but I guess that is why I'm not like just going crazy in love with this movie, because it did feel lukewarm. I wish I said that in the spoiler-free section, because that's exactly it. For a few hours now, I've been, thinking about doing this video, and I'm thinking like I just don't have the right words for. I don't hate it, but I'm not in love with it. It's just, some moments work, some moments don't, and not in that usual way. Like every movie they have moments that work and moments that don't, but this one is so stark. You know what I'm saying? It's like some stuff, especially the dialogue, it's really on point, and then some stuff is so dull, and it's like, was that written by the same person? What is going on? Did they have to rush to get this together? I see here it's 2 hours, though. I'll be honest. At no point in time, I think there was one time where I was like, okay, all right, I'm gonna look over here. And at one moment, I did get bored, and I think that was when the survivors were doing their survivoring. After a while, I did get a bit bored, and I did look away, and I think I cleaned something up around the house while I was watching the movie. But for the most part, it kept my attention for 2 hours. I wasn't. I didn't shut it off or nothing, so that it's got that going for it. Anyway, I was going to play a couple clips, but I've been getting slammed lately with content ID matches, so I'm not showing any clips. I do think for some people, you're definitely going to cry if kids really pluck on your heartstrings. There's a lot of females I know I could picture bawling to this. You might be one of them, so get a box of tissues and then go into this and let me know what you think about it. That's pretty much all I got to say about Bird Box, but I'm looking forward to some other good movies coming out, and hopefully if we get some time, we'll discuss those others as well. Put your thoughts and opinions down in that comment box. I'm done talking, so it's your turn.